Have you ever wondered why Japan's urban legends manage to provoke so much fear, even across the globe? Perhaps it's because, deep down, we realize these stories are not mere inventions. They have a basis in reality, rooted in primitive fears and forgotten truths. Even when we try to rationalize them, these tales continue to haunt us. In this third part of the series, we'll delve into accounts that defy logic and surpass the boundaries of the supernatural, proving that these tales are not just stories to tell around a campfire. They serve as reminders that the inexplicable is much closer than we imagine. Get ready to be surprised and feel a chill down your spine as we explore why these legends are so disturbing. Ready to face your fears? Then, put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and wrap yourself in a blanket. Let's begin. Imagine playing hide and seek, but instead of your friends, you're playing with something much more dangerous. Hitori Kokurenbo, an urban legend that emerged in Japan in 2007, became notorious as the internet evolved into a platform for sharing eerie and unsettling stories. This particular tale involves a ritualistic game that takes place at 3 o'clock, where participants essentially play hide and seek with a malevolent spirit possessing a stuffed toy, most commonly, a teddy bear. The process starts innocently, but quickly takes a dark turn. First, you must cut open a teddy bear and replace its stuffing with rice and a piece of your self-hair, a nail clipping, or even a drop of blood. This act is not just a symbolic gesture, but recalls ancient witchcraft practices, where objects were believed to be linked to people through a physical bond. The rice, often a symbol of life and prosperity in many cultures, is subverted into something darker, a sacrifice to energize the ritual. Once the teddy bear is stuffed, it is given a name. Naming objects in many magical traditions is believed to grant them power. At this point, the teddy bear is no longer just a toy. It has become an entity. The bear is placed in a sink filled with water, and after reciting the incantation to start the game, the participant must hide. The once peaceful silence of early morning shifts into an oppressive atmosphere filled with dread. The ritual initiates a series of disturbing events that include strange sounds, flickering lights, and an eerie cold that fills the room. Reports from those who've attempted the game describe hearing faint footsteps and the chilling sound of a knife scraping against walls. The real terror sets in when participants realize the teddy bear is no longer where they left it. It seems to have taken on a life of its own, wandering through the houses in search of the person who invoked the game. The cold that fills the room is not merely a drop in temperature. It feels as though the very life is being drained from the surroundings, leaving a suffocating sense of dread. What starts as a game becomes something far more sinister. Even after completing the ritual, which ends by burning the teddy bear, participants report that the nightmare doesn't end. Objects in their homes start moving on their own, and a constant feeling of being watched never truly goes away. Those who have played the game speak of seeing shadows, feeling the presence of something ominous in their homes, and even experiencing nightmares where they are chased by unseen forces. Hitori Kokurenbo is not just an urban legend, it could be a modern version of an ancient ritual, cleverly disguised as a harmless game. Its roots seem to tap into the age-old fear of meddling with forces beyond our understanding, reminding us that some doors, once opened, can never be closed. In stark contrast to the chaos of Hitori Kokurenbo, Yuki Onna, the Snow Woman, embodies an entirely different kind of terror, a cold, hypnotic beauty that lures victims to their doom. She is one of Japan's most well-known and chilling legends, representing both the allure and the deadly indifference of nature. Yuki Onna appears during snowstorms, her long black hair flowing over her pale skin, as white as the snow surrounding her. While her appearance is beautiful, her gaze carries a deathly coldness. capable of freezing her victims with fear. The legend of Yuki Onna plays on the fear of being caught in an inescapable situation, lost in a snowstorm, alone and freezing, when suddenly, a figure appears through the swirling snow. Her beauty is captivating, and for a moment, you believe she is there to help. But this is where the true terror lies. Yuki Onna is not there to rescue you. She embodies the harsh cruelty of nature, luring you into a false sense of security before freezing you to death. Those who encounter Yuki Onna report hearing her soft, almost melodic voice, which seems to pull them deeper into the storm, away from safety. Some describe it as a strange sense of comfort, as if death is offering peace. But that comfort is fleeting. Once you realize what's happening, it's too late. By the time Yuki Onna disappears into the storm, her victims are left freezing in the snow, their bodies contorted in strange positions, as if they were reaching for something that was never there. In some versions of the legend, Yuki Onna is not just one spirit, but a collective manifestation of the snow itself, nature's way of punishing those who dare to challenge it. Entire groups of people, from climbers to travelers, have been found frozen to death, with expressions of pure terror etched on their faces. Her presence in the storm is a reminder that nature is both beautiful and deadly, and those who follow her are never seen again. If Hitori Kakurenbo and Yuki Onna represent supernatural forces linked to ancient rituals and nature, the tale of Himuro Mansion strikes at the heart of human darkness. Located on the outskirts of Tokyo, Himuro Mansion is infamous for being one of the most haunted places in Japan. It's said to have been the site of horrific events perpetrated by the Himuro family, who were deeply superstitious and believed they needed to perform violent and bloody rituals to keep an evil spirit at bay. One such ritual, the ritual of strangulation, involved the brutal sacrifice of a young girl, chosen every 50 years. The girl would be tied with ropes and violently pulled apart in a gruesome ritual meant to seal away the malevolent spirit. However, one fateful year, the chosen girl fell in love with a local boy, and her heart was no longer pure. This impurity caused the ritual to fail, unleashing the evil spirit upon the Himuro family, leading to a massacre within the mansion. Visitors to Himuro Mansion have reported terrifying phenomena: bloodstains that appear and disappear on the walls, the sound of ropes tightening as if someone is being strangled, and sightings of ghostly figures roaming the halls. Many who venture into the mansion leave with a feeling of dread, as if the spirits of the Himuro family are still trapped within, desperate to complete the ritual that would bring them peace. Some claim that the Himuro Mansion was the inspiration for the survival horror game Fatal Frame, further fueling its legend. Whether or not the stories are true, one thing remains certain: Himuro Mansion is a place where fear lingers in every shadow, where the line between the living and the dead is dangerously thin. As we've explored these chilling tales, it's clear that Japan's urban legends are not just stories, they're windows into a deeper, darker world where the supernatural intertwines with human nature. From the cursed game of Hitori Kakurenbo to the hypnotic allure of Yuki Onna and the blood-soaked history of Himuro Mansion, these legends remind us that fear is not only about what we see, but about what we cannot escape. Some doors should never be opened, and some questions should never be asked. But as long as curiosity exists, these tales will continue to haunt us. If you've made it this far, perhaps the fear is starting to take hold. Remember, sometimes, it's not about the things that go bump in the night. It's the things that silently wait for you in the dark. Stay safe, and be careful what you seek. Japan is a land rich in culture, tradition, and mystery. But beneath its beautiful landscapes and ancient temples lies a darker side filled with chilling urban legends that have fascinated and terrified people across the globe. These stories have crossed oceans, capturing the imaginations of those in the United States and other countries, not just because of their supernatural content, but because they touch upon fears that transcend borders. At their core, these legends seem to dig into deep-rooted human anxieties about death, the unknown, and forces beyond our control. Take the story of Himuro Mansion, a place notorious for its dark history. Located on the outskirts of Tokyo, the mansion has been the subject of many disturbing rumors. The Himuro family, once the mansion's inhabitants, was deeply superstitious, believing that evil forces threatened their lineage. To prevent destruction, they performed a horrific ritual every 50 years, one that required the violent sacrifice of a young girl. In this ritual, the girl would be tied with ropes, which were then fastened to 4 animals. When the animals were sent running in opposite directions, the girl's body would be torn apart. This brutal act was thought necessary to seal away the evil that threatened the family. But during one of these rituals, something went horribly wrong. The girl who was chosen for the sacrifice had fallen in love with a man who secretly visited her, a violation of the ritual's rules. Because of this, the sacrifice was deemed impure, and the evil that the family sought to contain was unleashed. Instead of protecting the family, the failed ritual brought doom upon them and cursed the mansion itself. Those who enter Himuro Mansion today often report feeling an oppressive atmosphere the moment they step inside. The air is heavy, as if soaked with the pain and suffering of the past. Narrow corridors feel suffocating, the floor creaks with each step, and shadows seem to move in ways they shouldn't. Visitors describe feeling watched, as if something unseen is following them through the halls. Some even hear children's laughter echoing through the mansion, although no children are present. And as soon as they turn their backs, bloodstains appear and disappear on the walls, amplifying the feeling that something terrible is about to happen. Even more disturbing are the reports of people who ventured into the mansion and sensed the presence of spirits trapped in an endless cycle of pain. These spirits, it seems, don't even realize they are dead, forever reliving their last moments of agony. One eerie account involves a film crew who entered the mansion to make a documentary. While filming, they captured strange shadows that seemed to follow them, only to vanish when the cameras were focused on them. One crew member claimed that invisible hands had grabbed her, attempting to pull her into one of the rooms. After she was freed, she was in a state of shock, mumbling about a girl with dark eyes who wanted to take her. What's perhaps most unsettling is that even after leaving the mansion, visitors report that they are not entirely free of its influence. Nightmares haunt them, along with an unnerving feeling that they're being watched. Some even claim that their lives begin to spiral out of control. Jobs are lost, relationships break down, and an inexplicable force seems to be trying to pull them back to the mansion. The terror of Himuro Mansion doesn't end at its doors, it follows you, turning your own home into a place where fear is a constant presence. Another legend from Japan that has terrified people for generations is the story of Oe, a woman whose tragic death turned her into a vengeful spirit. Oe was an ordinary woman, living a simple life, until her husband, driven by greed, decided to kill her. He wanted to marry a wealthier woman, so he poisoned Oe slowly, ensuring that her death was both painful and drawn out. The cruelty of her demise, and the betrayal by the man she loved, filled her spirit with an undying rage. In Japanese folklore, a spirit like Oe is known as an onryo, a vengeful ghost capable of inflicting harm on the living to right the wrongs done to them. After her death, Oe's spirit became a relentless force, haunting her husband, Iman, everywhere he went. He began seeing her reflection in mirrors and shadows, and even in the faces of the people around him. His fear and paranoia grew as the air around him would turn cold, as though her presence was draining the life from his surroundings. Desperate to rid himself of Oe's ghost, Iman tried moving to different towns, performed rituals, and sought spiritual guidance, but nothing worked. Oe's spirit followed him, and her vengeance consumed his life. In a fit of madness, he even killed his new wife, believing Oe had taken her place. But even this act of desperation couldn't rid him of her presence. She continued to haunt him until his death, consumed by terror and guilt. However, Oe's story didn't end with Iman's demise. Her spirit is said to still linger, and the play Yotsuya Kaiden, based on her story, is believed to be cursed. Actors, directors, and crew members involved in its production have reported strange accidents, sudden deaths, and an overwhelming sense of being watched by something malevolent. The legend of Oe endures as a chilling reminder that acts of deep betrayal and injustice leave scars that not even death can erase. Beyond the haunted mansions and vengeful spirits lies a figure from Japanese folklore that embodies nature's cruel beauty, the Snow Woman. Known as Yuki Onna, she appears during fierce snowstorms, an ethereal figure with pale skin and long flowing hair. Her beauty is mesmerizing, but her eyes reflect a coldness beyond the physical. The legend of Yuki Onna speaks to a primal fear, one of being lured into a trap by something seemingly beautiful and serene, only to be destroyed. Those lost in snowstorms are said to see her figure just ahead, gliding effortlessly through the snow. Her voice is soft, almost like a lullaby, and it's said that hearing it brings a strange sense of calm. But that calm is a false comfort, as Yuki Onna leads her victims deeper into the storm, where they are never found again. When their bodies are eventually discovered, they're frozen solid, often with expressions of terror frozen on their faces. Some say Yuki Onna is not a single entity, but a personification of the deadly cold of the Japanese mountains, a spirit that emerges to punish those who dare to challenge nature's might. Her beauty masks a deadly power, and those who follow her are never seen again. After hearing these unsettling legends, it becomes clear that fear is universal, but the form it takes can vary across cultures. Japan's urban legends tap into deep, primal fears about death, the unknown, and forces beyond human control. These stories aren't just meant to scare, they remind us that there are things in this world that defy explanation. So, the next time you hear a strange noise in your house or feel an inexplicable chill, remember these legends. Sometimes, the unknown is much closer than we think. If these chilling stories intrigued you, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. There's much more suspense and fear waiting for you, and each new video will take you deeper into the world of the unknown. Keep watching, and prepare to face what lurks in the shadows.